Good afternoon, everybody. We're doing our mic check and starting all at the same time, so I'm going to give everybody a second to get on. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Give me a thumbs up if you can. I think it's working. Okay. Yeah, folks are saying they can see and hear, so we're ready. Okay, there we go. Thanks, guys. I want to welcome you today and thank you for joining us on the Dade County Weekly Update. We have several guests today. We have Dr. Jan Harris with the school system, Alex Case, the Emergency Management Director of Dade County. He'll be talking to us about the CARES Act. Reece Fasucett, who is here speaking on behalf of the Complete Count Committee for the U.S. Census. Ansel Smith, Assistant Fire Chief, who will be talking to us about a very special event coming up this weekend, and Dade County Executive Ted Rumley. So if you know somebody who would be interested in hearing from any of our guests today, go ahead and invite them to watch this live broadcast or start a watch party so you can hold your own discussions. Remember that you can also watch this later on Facebook or YouTube, and sharing the links to our videos is super easy. Before we begin with our first guest, we would like to say a big thank you to all of our poll workers, volunteers, and the Board of Elections here in Dade County. This past Tuesday was the Republican runoff for the following races: the U.S. Congressional Representative race between Marjorie Taylor Greene and John Cowan, the State Representative race between Mike Cameron and John Deffenbaugh, and the County School Board District 5 at-large race between Dr. Jane Griffin and Brooke Wilson. So thank you to everybody who voted, everybody who came out, and all the poll workers and members of our Board of Elections. We will get started now I think we're going to start with Ansel Smith.
Good afternoon. As she said, I'm Ansel with the Trenton Fire Department. I'm here today on behalf of the fire departments and a little boy whose name is Isaac. This Sunday the 16th, he'll be coming home from Nashville, where he has been fighting leukemia for the past several months. So before I get to what we're going to be doing for him, I'd like to read a letter that his mom has sent over to give a little history to everybody about Isaac. Isaac Miller is an 11-year-old boy who was celebrated at our Dade County Festival of Life. Isaac is a baseball-loving kid who put all the trust in God, who is going to allow him to play ball again. A quick medical recap. Isaac was diagnosed with leukemia on September 21st, 2018. He relapsed in November of 2019. Ever since November 2019, Isaac has been in a hospital of some form taking treatments to prepare him for his bone marrow transplant. April of 2020, Isaac and his family moved to Nashville, Tennessee to undergo more treatments and to receive his new bone marrow from a young man who was nicknamed Andy. Isaac's favorite TV show was Andy Griffith Show. His favorite character was Andy also. Isaac got his transplant on May 5th, 2020, which is now renamed Cinco de Marrow. After months of being in a hospital and living in Franklin, Tennessee, Isaac and his family can finally return home where they belong. When Isaac was asked, "What do you want to do when you get home?" he said, "I want to cut my grass, play with my dog, and throw a ball in my yard." It has been a total of 5 months since Isaac and his family has been home. We have received so much love and support from our hometown. Everyone has stepped up to love on our family and help us in so many ways. You just cannot find this kind of support from anywhere else. Thank you. So that was a letter from his mom. So Sunday, we were wanting to give him a big welcome. All the fire departments, City of Trenton Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, EMS, are all going to line up here at West Crabtree Street. They're supposed to be getting off the interstate around 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon, and they're going to come, turn down by Hardee's, and we're going to escort him from Trenton all the way to his residence in Rising Fawn. So if you're around the area anywhere between Trenton and Rising Fawn Hardware, I believe there's a group gathering at Rising Fawn Hardware make banners, just step out on the side of the road and wave at Isaac and welcome him home. We want to make this a big welcome for the young man. He's been away for so long and he's ready to be home. So if anyone could come out and support, we'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Ansel Smith will be on KWIN in the morning at 9:15 to talk about that again. So if you know somebody who needs to hear more about that, tell them to tune into KWIN first thing in the morning at 9:15. Next, we'll hear from Alex Case.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry it's been a while since I've been here with the updates. Ted's been taking our weekly updates out. We've been just really busy concentrating on our COVID-19 response and grants and declarations of stuff. So that's my full-time emergency management job along with 911. So Carey come to me and said there was a lot of questions or some comments about the CARES Act funding. Earlier throughout the year when this actually started, the federal government actually done a COVID-19 response relief to each state, and each state was going to push that out to the counties. Dade County and the city of Trenton did receive these funds. They were 30% of nearly a $1.2 billion process. 30% of that was around almost 370 something million that was flushed through 159 counties, and I forgot how many cities throughout those counties. It's based on our population. Again, as you can see behind me, the Census Act of what our current numbers are determine how much funds was given to Dade County and the city of Trenton. So I point to tell you how important these census is, and why it is how much funds get to us for federal relief. We're still currently in a pandemic era and response. Every day that our fire departments, our police departments, our EMS, and folks that go out and help folks are going out into an area where there is a potential sickness, and we treat every call as that. With that has been greater expenses on the Dade County budget and the city of Trenton budget up and beyond what we budgeted for in our previous year of 2020 and what we're currently past our budget for 2021. Two things that we're working on: a federal declaration for the supplies and stuff we're doing, and the current CARES Act that was awarded to help mitigate other things for us. Big things that we're looking at is waiting rooms inside our current public buildings, how to sanitize properly without doing as much touching of surfaces, streamlining online services for you, the taxpayers, or any other business that needs something to the governments, and making it safe for you and safe for the employees here to continue to stay open. So we are having to step through the federal procurement processes of this. We've been working 10, 12-hour days and securing this once the guidelines. We had 2 classes yesterday and another one this morning, and we got another one tomorrow. Things are changing on this through ACC and GMA is helping all the counties and cities to help us understand. Don Townsend, our county clerk, was on it yesterday. Today, our deputy clerk and payroll clerk was on it, and tomorrow we've got another, the city clerk will be on a class as well through GMA. These guidelines and stipulations of things that way we read the document and how it's actually supposed to be done. Now this is stuff we have to submit into what they call the Georgia Grants Portal, and then they have to approve it based on specific topics of public health, safety, telework, telelearning for employees. How can we make our facilities work better for that, for access control? How do we keep them safe for you, the public, and us for public employees to be here to do their jobs? So Dade County was awarded $731,035, and the city of Trenton was awarded $112,600. So we're looking at all expenses from March 1, 2020 until September 1. And we have to have all that submitted in with canceled checks and other things that show that we've taken care of this stuff. That's only phase one of the CARES Act fund. There's going to possibly be a phase two and a phase three. But Georgia was awarded nearly $4.1 billion for the CARES Act funding. ACCG and GMA has worked hard to get that for these counties and cities, and we have to follow those regulations. They have also, Dr. Harris will be here shortly, or is here now. They've also helped the school system with relations to the schools. So yes, it is federal money. We have to go through that, and it'll take the ease off anything outside of our budget to procure better processes for the public and the public employees and for the schools as they go forward with this as well. So again, that's what we're doing. Again, we have a federal declaration we're working on. We've had close to $54,000 of expenses through March up till to date. That stuff's happening every day because we keep buying supplies that we're not used to, our masks, our sanitation supplies in all these public buildings. Now that the public parks and things like that we had to do. Environments for the city that come through, we had to hire extra personnel to sanitize the pool and the bleachers and the seats and the playground, and that we didn't budget for in our budget. So that's things that we're recouping with it. We're going to use this money for and better our cities and counties as we go forward through the rest of this year, because we know cold and flu season's coming. This may be a common cold that's with us, but helping to fight it and take care of it, we want to make sure we get the best for our taxpayers without taking any more money from our taxpayers and using the federal government. I know it's a federal tax, and we pay federal taxes to a point, but we want to make sure we use it for us and it's not going somewhere else. This is the fight I feel as also the EMA director for the county, and then my second as a mayor, to make sure we get everything we do and working with our county executive, the city commission, and the county commission to get what we need for our citizens, and also assisting our school system to make sure our kids are safe. I remind you all, and there was a lot of stuff out that Carey put out, watch for your buses early in the morning and in the evenings. Remember to always social distance, washing our hands, looking at our sanitizer. And please, think of our children, think of our teachers, think of our administrators in the schools. It's a whole different ballgame. She'll be here to tell you more about that. And one of the best things that Chief Kaiser mentioned in our safety meeting yesterday is let's just pray for our children, our families, and our administrators. And for our whole county, we all need prayer and thoughts. This is a tremendous, difficult time for us. The frustration to make sure we balance our checkbooks and our books and everything is concerns us all, concerns me every day, to make sure we're doing this right, to make sure we're not in some type of situation. But Rebecca Jones, Don Townsend, Ted, myself, our payroll clerks, and all were working hard to follow these procurements and processes to use this funding. But that is our goal, is to work on issues like that, and we're trying our best to get that done. So I know it may be very vague and wide, but that's the way we're driving towards CARES Act funding to better our community. So next is wonderful, wonderful lady here, and then Miss Jan Harris, Dade County Schools.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Howdy. You may be wondering why I have a cowboy hat on and I'm holding up my boots. It's because we got our boots and spurs on in Dade County Schools because our boys and girls came back to school today. And we've had a wonderful day in Dade County Schools. I have never seen so many happy children and parents walking through the doors of our schools this morning. I only saw one parent crying and one child crying. And usually it's very traumatic the first day of school for our younger children. But we got our boots and spurs on in Dade County Schools because these are trying times. I want to thank the members of the faith community for your prayers, for your encouragement, for your notes, your calls, your emails, your text. We appreciate that so much, and I've conveyed all of those sentiments to our employees. So thank you so much. Several of our churches had prayer events in the parking lots at our schools last night, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart. And I want to thank Alex Case for the support with the CARES Act dollars. We have saturated our schools with PPE and partitions and foggers and everything you can think about. But we're looking for new ways to improve every single day. So thank you. And we're looking at ordering some more masks to hand out in the community. And so I'll be sending out some news about that. We promise to be open with our parents and our stakeholders about the number of COVID cases in Dade County schools. So if you follow us on Twitter for at Dade_schools, or you can go on our webpage, I send a text out to our parents and our employees when we have an update. So today I sent, my phone is saying low battery mode. I wonder why. It's been a busy day for all of us. Lots of information on this phone. The COVID update for today, August the 13th, we have 7 employees or students who have tested positive for COVID-19. We have 5 employees and 2 students. Now, both of the students are athletes. One, which was identified earlier in the week, is a volleyball player. The entire volleyball team is quarantined at the middle school. Last night, we were notified of a positive case for one of our cheerleaders. So at the high school, our cheerleader squad is quarantined. So I sent out a newsletter this week with our information about how we determine who has to go home, what happens based upon the guidelines from the CDC, the Department of Public Health, and our local doctor, Dr. Gary Vocchio. And we appreciate all of that information. We're not making up the rules as we go. We're working in collaboration with all of these experts, realizing that the wisest, richest man that ever lived was King Solomon. And he said, plans fail without counsel, but with many advisors, plans succeed. So we are continuing to collaborate with all of these experts as we strive to keep our school open, all of our schools open, because you, the members of the community, our parents, have told us that approximately 80% of you want us to have face-to-face traditional school. At last count, we've been very flexible about allowing our students to enroll in our virtual school. At last count, we had a little over 19%. We've had some more add today. So we're glad to offer a virtual school and a traditional school. And again, we have about an 80-20% split on the enrollment. So that's all the news for today, and we will keep you posted. And in the meantime, we are committed to displaying character-strong leadership and realizing that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And our children are depending on us, and you're going to see the brightest smiles through our eyes because we have on masks in our classrooms. But our teachers, you can tell from their eyes, we're all smiling, we're all loving our children, and we're making the best of a tough situation. Thank you for your support, and join me with your boots and spurs as we tackle COVID-19. Thank you.
My name is Reece Faucett, and I'm representing the Census, the Complete Count Committee. And I'd like to do an old preacher trick on everybody and do the last thing I need to do first, and that way we'll know where we're going with it. Commissioner Rumley and Alex and Ansel are all in here, and I'd just like to throw a question out. Could y'all have used another $1.4 million a year in the past 10 years? Anytime. Okay. Well, because of the undercount by people not filling out the census in 2010, our community lost approximately $144 million in funding for things like emergency supplies, roads, bridges, Medicaid, school programs, grants for teachers, and the like. I'd like to talk just a little bit more about the census, is that it is a constitutionally mandated thing in the United States, and the first one was in 1790. And there's a thing for people who worry about discretion. The results of the census, except for the raw count, is held in private for 72 years. So, they use that later after a generation has passed for historians to figure out things about us. I'd like to let you know that this is the first ever census in the history of the United States that's been conducted online. And there are 4 different ways that you can complete the census. Is by phone, online, mailing in documents, and then there'll be census takers that are moving around the community and helping you fill out your census reports. The census is important to Dade County for a lot of reasons, one of which is apportionment. State populations don't have a permanent claim on their number of representatives, and the number of representatives is dictated by the census count. And also, that affects the Electoral College, and it will with this count in the 2024 presidential election. Redistricting. State and local officials use 10-year census results to help redraw congressional, state, and local district boundaries so that it's ensured that there's a roughly equal number of people in those districts to ensure the one person, one vote rule. Third thing that's important about the census numbers is the census totals help determine the amount of funding that state governments and local communities receive from the federal government for the next 10 years. It's things, again, like Medicaid, highway planning, construction, special education grants to state, the national school program, Head Start, and those kinds of things. Data from the census inform a wide range of government and business and nonprofit decision making. They help determine the need for new roads, new hospitals, schools, other public sector investments. And here's something that we're involved in right now is emergency response. I don't know how much money we got from the federal government in 2011, but in the 10 years that we're still in since the 2010 census, I think we just got $700,000 of CARES money to be distributed for public health, disease outbreaks, the cost to the county of this COVID pandemic that's going on. And our census numbers determines how much of those federal emergency grants that we get. So it's very important that we have as close to accurate a count as we have. Right now, for the whole nation, the national response rates, and that means people who are filling out the census, the national response rates are 63%. For Georgia, it's 59%. For Dade County, we are at 51% of people who are actually filling out the census data. And we need to get that figure up a whole lot, so that we can be properly represented, and so that we can get our share of whatever federal money is available. And like I said before, the last estimate by the Census Bureau for Dade County was in June of 2019, and they estimated that we had a population of 6,166. But if we go at the 51% reporting rate for the census, we will be assessed at approximately 8,300 people. In other words, half of what we could be. And that deals with things like emergency supplies, roads, bridges, Medicaid, school programs, grants for teachers, and the like. So we're working, got a bunch of people working to try to get information out, and you'll see things like these. These are going to be distributed to all the churches who are actually attending church. And there's 3 ways that you can do your census. Well, 4 really, if a census taker comes to you. But number 1 is you can call 1-844-330-2020, and you can fill your census out over the phone. Or you can go online at www.my2020census.gov. Or you can scan this little squiggly thing at the bottom that I know has a name, but I call it a little squiggly thing. But you can do that, and you can do that with your smartphone, and it will pull up and do that. Right now, we're working with the churches in the county, and the churches that are meeting will be given flyers like this, and then the churches that are doing online worship will be given a JPG?
A JPEG that they can put on
A JPEG, so that they can include that in their online services.
And those are the churches that are choosing to participate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so far, every church that I was assigned to talk to, every church has decided to participate and allow us to pass flyers out in ways that won't cut into their worship time. So this is really important. Thinking about having lost $144 million in the past 10 years of possible money. But you'll find blue cards like this, and it tells you things like census data impacts funding for things like Head Start, school meal programs, adult education grants, historically black colleges and universities, public transportation and roads, housing assistance, emergency services, Medicare, health clinics, supplemental nutrition assistance programs, and preventative health services. Thank you for the time and for listening to my presentation, but please fill out your census today, because it matters to all of us. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Hope everyone's having a good day today. Got a few things I'll go over with you before I give my report on the COVID-19. I'll start with I always try to start with this, but with the Lookout Lake Dam out on the mountain. It's going really good. A lot of you are not that interested in it, but Lookout Mountain residents are. We are really ahead of schedule. We've got the actual engineers were out there today. They did a point inspection on it. We've got three of the 12-inch lines that have laid. We got one more to go. We will probably be finishing that up hopefully by the end of next week. It's kind of a slow go. Then we'll start on the box culvert. But the aerators are working real well. A lot of people was concerned with the fish, and that looks real good right now. Wouldn't hurt if we had some rain, but Mother Nature it's good for one thing. It's good for our working, but we hope that it will rain here before long, especially after we actually get the piping in, where it'll start bringing the lake level back up. We still got the County Road 6. It's on our next project here. We're going to try to get started on it, at least get a road cut in there in the next few weeks, and get down in the bottom of that thing and get started on it where we can actually move from one to the other. We've postponed our pavement for a few weeks here now. Hopefully by the middle of this next month, we can get on the paving, get that done before cold weather gets here. I don't see any reason why we can't. We will announce before the next few weeks of the roads we'll be working on, where you'll be expecting the traffic, a little bit slow down your traffic. We did have our final reading on Sunday sales at our commission meeting the other night, Thursday night. That was voted in by the voters of Dade County. That was the final reading of it, and the beverage board is taking care. It's been turned over to them, and it's in their court now as far as the notifications and all. So if you have any questions, you can call and talk to them there about that. Census is going on, just like Mr. Reece Fauscett there talked to you a little while about that. I'll touch on that real quick. It's really important, as he said. I mean, it's something that a lot of people take for granted, but it is really important, especially in some of our smaller counties like ours. Really makes a difference in the revenue that we receive from a lot of things, just like he said. But try to get out there if you haven't filled it out. And also, I do want to remind you, he mentioned this, touched on this too, but there will be people coming door to door this year. We reported that they were not going to be back at a few weeks ago, but they are. And Carey's got all that information, if you need to know anything about that. But I don't know what their scheduling is going to be. But they will be well identified with badges and all. And if you have any question at all, just call the Sheriff's Department. It doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday, whatever. If you have someone that you really question, or if you ask for credentials and they fail to satisfy you, call the Sheriff's Department. They're well aware of these people coming out, and so don't let anyone in your house that you feel uncomfortable with. We're still doing our COVID-19 testing downstairs. They're going 5 days a week there. It's real simple, real quick. It's been going. There've been several a day going through there. There's never a real long line, so it won't take you very long to do that. You don't even have to get out of your car. So it doesn't cost anything. So there's no reason really, if you have it in doubt in your mind, to be tested. Go through down at our health department and take care of that. Let's see here. I left anything out, Carey? Don't think so. About it. I'll move into our COVID report. Our numbers are up from last week. In fact, in the last 14 days, Dade County's had 35 positive tests in Dade County. We went from 119 to 136 as of last week, so that's its numbers are definitely not going down. So you need to really keep in mind, try to wear your mask as much as possible. We've got school started back, like our superintendent was talking to you there a little bit ago about that. We just need to keep an eye on everything and try to do everything you can as far as social distancing and all to try to fight this. As I said, we went from 119 to 136 in Dade County from last week. Walker County, 617 last week. We're at 742 in Walker County right now. We went from 587 last week in Catoosa. There's 687 in Catoosa today. Chattooga County, they were at 212, and they jumped all the way up to 302 in 7 days. Whitfield County, 3,313 positive cases, and they're at 3,621 in Whitfield County. Gordon County, they were at 1,083. Gordon, now they're 1,264. Floyd County went from 1,353 to 1,648. That's a big jump. There's still 2,730 unknown counties out there, unknown addresses. It's not been tied to the counties. Since yesterday, this is to tell you just exactly how it's increasing in the state of Georgia. Since yesterday in the state of Georgia, we've had 660 cases. They've had 109 deaths and 348 hospitalizations. And that's right. That's update, right? That's today. That's today. Right now as we talk. We moved to Tennessee, Hamilton County. Last week they were at 6,643. Today they're at 7,356. That's just in the county of Hamilton County. Right now they have 1,453 active cases, and altogether since the beginning, they've had 4,900 recoveries. They've also had 59 deaths in Hamilton County. Marion County, they went from 260 to 285. At this time, they have 64 active cases in Marion County. They've had 161 people recover with 5 deaths. Over in Grundy County, they went from 106 to 141. They have 33 active cases as of today. They've had 87 recoveries with 2 deaths. Sequatchie County, they went from 119 to 137. They have 32 active cases today as we speak with 80 recoveries and 1 death. Over in Meigs County, they went from 120 to 133 with 36 active and 73 recovered. In Bradley County, they also have a big number here. They went from 2,133, they went to 2,411. At this time, they have 573 active cases in Bradley County. They've had 1,425 recovered out of that 2,411, and they've had 15 deaths. Moving down to Alabama, Jackson County, one of our neighbors, they were at 924 as last week. They're at 1,079 today. They've had 4 deaths, and statistically, they've had 338 cases in 14 days. That's 338 active cases reported in Jackson County in just 2 weeks, 14 days. DeKalb County, they were at 1,745 last week. Today they're at 1,866. They've had 14 deaths, and DeKalb County has had 245 cases in the last 14 days reported. So numbers are still going up. So don't let your guard down. It's still out there. And if you don't think so, look at these numbers. I mean, it's amazing. So just to try to use social distancing. You'll mentally keep it in your mind, that this is real. You can say that if it's not or that it is, but you can look at numbers here, and with the positive cases and the deaths we've had, it's out there, and it's not just preying on the elderly people. Actually, a lot of the people that are actually testing positive are 40 and less right now. So don't just think because you're a young person, or whatever, that you can't get it, because you can. We'll be back next Thursday at 3:00, and also on Evans that morning. We'll give you another update, and if anything changes drastically, we'll be back on here in just a matter of minutes and let you know what's going on. My number is 667-8999. It's my cell number, area code 423. You can call me any day, anytime, 7 days a week, or 657-4625 here at the office, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you.